Welcome to the second round of the iRacing Le Mans Series, and welcome to Road Atlanta. Welcome to the track that hosts the Petit Le Mans, and a track which in multi-class racing can be an absolute headache for drivers, especially to run through turn 2 all the way down to turn number 5. Will Vincent here along with Jack Stiles. Qualifying is underway, and well, this track, Jack, can be frustrating for drivers because it's not the widest track in the world. And I mean, we're kind of lucky in some ways that the track temp isn't going to be that high today. But if you're an LMP1 car, today's word is patience.
Indeed, so track temperature is 32 degrees Celsius. For these LMP1 drivers, they have a 13-second lap difference on times that we're looking at in qualifying at the moment between their GTE counterparts in this race. Well, they need to be patient, especially through those S's. If you can try and make a move if you really want to, but especially in the run-up to turn 5, that left-hander at the top of the hill, 3 and 4, you do not want to make a pass through there. 5, you do not want to do the same. You just need to be patient in these cars today. And of course, they also have the HPDs to deal with as well. They shouldn't be too bad through the S's because of the fact that they'll be around the same pace because they have around the same amount of downforce, give or take. But yes, the LMP1 cars, we are seeing lap times of nearly a minute here at Road Atlanta today. Incredibly quick, and that means we're going to do roughly about 50 laps here today. We say the 13-second difference. That means that we'll be having traffic from lap number 6 onwards, lapping cars so often. And one of the things that's worth noting here as well here today is that you could end up in a situation where you could have your life made a little bit of a misery of very quickly. Give us 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies for that one. We are back with you. And one of the things I will say, Jack, because it's such a short track length, we say lap traffic is going to be a thing, and you can lose 5-6 seconds easily if you are stuck in traffic in sector number 1. So the reason why I say patience is because you cannot work this race lap by lap. You cannot do a situation, in fact, you have to run the race lap by lap is what I mean. You can't be in a situation where you say, oh, I've lost 6 seconds, I've got to push extra hard to get it back. It doesn't work that way. What these drivers have to remember is that if they lose 6 seconds during sector 1, in a minute's time, 5 or 6 or so drivers who sit there, the leaders behind them, are also going to lose 5 or 6 seconds. And you cannot take it. As you said, you have to take it lap by lap. If you do not take it lap by lap, if you think about that end goal of crossing the line first at the end of the hour, you are approaching this race wrong. You have to approach it in the mindset of every lap is each an individual because of how different the traffic is going to be. You might have HPDs trying to make an overtake, and it might not be wide enough. Even this back straight wheel is only just wide enough for 3 wide. If an LMP1 car tries to go down the middle, and the HPD, GTE or whatever doesn't see them, there is going to be a humongous accident.
Oh yes it is. Want to give us a quick shout out to Iswan Balao, TrackCam22.com, Andres Warner and One Design for our overlay design development by Simon Grossman and Apgenering.com, and Nick Fisson for Racebot TV, live timing and scoring. So, a minute left until qualifying is over. Here is a look at your top 3 in qualifying in each of your classes right now. In LMP1, Marcus Hamilton is leading with a time of 1:03.623 over Patrick Wolff, 2 times per second faster, and Fabrice Cornelius then in 3rd. In MLP2, it's Carlo Labate leading the way, Fraser Williamson in 2nd, and Justin Hopp in 3rd. Jack Sedgwick leading the way in GTE. From 1:15.398, he is almost 3 times per second faster than Carter Janssen and Andre Borcher in 3rd. The spread between drivers as well, Jack, means that traffic is going to be even more complicated today.
Obviously, you're looking like your LMP1 field is covered by around 2 to 3 seconds between first and last position. P2 is covered by 4 seconds, so slightly bigger difference in that one. And then your GTE field, again, covered by not even 2 seconds. So everyone very close on times as they head down to the grid. 1 full pace lap here at Road Atlanta, if I remember correctly, and we will be racing for 1 hour here at this exciting short circuit in America.
Let's head yourself then to your starting grid.
Gonna have a look at our overall. Marcus Hamilton, pole position then, 103.623. Patrick Wolf in second place. Fabrice Cornelius in third, and Daniel Benefield in P number 4. Fifth place will go to Ashley Owen. We're dragging Nick in sixth place. Ryan Kruger in P number 7, and Chris Fuller in P number 8. Ninth place, Go Guez with Kazuki Omishima in 10th, Joseph Barton Harris in 11th, and Eric Galvez then in P number 12. With Julian Ribelow, the last of the year LMP1 drivers in 13th, Ricardo Labatti, first of LMP2 drivers in P number 14. Look at the gap between LMP1 and LMP2, 6.1 seconds. Fraser Williamson second in class, with Justin Hopp in third. And then you got Ronnie Durg, Jesper Druckler, and Antti Livoska. And look, oh my word, it's too complicated to say all of these names. P number 17 through 20. Gallardio then in P number 20. P number 21, Ronald Grossman then with Rennie Penquit in 22nd. Maxime Dethily, Briz Boys in 23rd. And then the first of your GTE drivers is Jack Cedric in P number 24. Behind further, Carly Jansen 25th, Andre Borcher 26th, Wyatt Goodham in P number 27, and Vincenzo Silvestri in 28th spot. Miko Malkila then in 29th, Dennis Skabowski running out your top 30. Look at that though, P1 through P30, 12-second gap there, Jack.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting because of the class difference as well. You've got about another 7/10 of a second back to the slowest person in GTE. That was Theodore Prost in the 17 Porsche. He did a 1 minute 16.701. So the times are very close in all of your classes as the drivers in the P1 field set off for their one pace lap. Traffic is going to be so interesting. These drivers have to get the traffic management spot on to have any chance of even finishing this race today.
Yeah, got plenty of onboard cameras for you here today. Let's have a look through some of them. First of all, on board Patrick Wolf then in the number 7 machine. Front row of the grid for him. Also, let's check in with the driver Goguez. We're talking about him actually in terms of Classic IndyCar Series and IndyCar racing. He actually wanted to race at Watkins Glen in an IndyCar, running with just one arm because he'd broken the other one. Goguez then is starting on your, few rows down here today. Back to LMP2. And we've got ourselves a driver of Antti Livoska then, number 30, Finnish driver. We've also got Carlo Labatti. Let's have a look on board of him in the number 25 machine. And then Wyatt Goodham in pole position in class in the number 1 car, highest I-rated driver here today. As we'll have a look back as well, we've also got ourselves a driver, Kevin Siggy. Let's go on board of him. On board of him through turn number 5. The drivers head themselves now down towards 6 and 7. That double apex right-hander. This is a look now from the rear of Patrick Fields in a number 11 machine. So, big field. Normally, at a track like this, you want to get the field spread out. Well, normally at an endurance race, you want to get the field spread out. You don't want to do that here today because of the fact that you've only got 4 or 5 clean laps before traffic will kick in. So, you'll notice the gaps may not be as big as they normally are. There is Jasper Durlikin. You can see, actually, right there with the LMP, LMP2, LMP1 drivers, not much separation at all, and only about 10 car lengths between LMP2 and GTE.
Yeah, it definitely looks like the drivers are trying to bunch themselves up. GTE have given themselves a little bit more of a gap, just trying to avoid that first lap carnage. Marcus Hamilton is going to now be rounding through that final chicane, ready for the green flag.
Here we are then, getting ourselves ready for week number 2 of the iRacing Le Mans Series. Pace car will come on towards pit road. And here we go. 60 minutes worth of racing starts now. LMP1 through turn 1. Now they head themselves through turn 2, 3, 4, 5. As we'll have a look over the crest, we'll start seeing LMP2 cars coming through the train as well. LMP2 shouldn't be as bad on this section, but now a little bit of a wait. You're going to start seeing your GTE cars coming through. We've got a car turned around. That's second and third place in class there. And that is Andre Borcher, one of those 2 drivers involved. We're on board of Borcher. He's fallen well down the field there, Jack.
Yeah, it just looks as though himself and Carl Janssen of Radicals Online came together into turn number 2, turn number 3. Just looks as though Carl Janssen got a little bit too close to Andre Borcher. The two Fords made slight contact, and both of them losing quite a lot of time. Andre Borcher cycling himself down to 8th in class, and Carl Janssen only losing 1 position in all of that. Jack Sedgwick, though, has got a mighty start. He's already got a very big lead at the front of this field, Will, and he is looking like a very strong contender. Marcus Hamilton, Patrick Wolf, those two got the jump by the looks of it on the start. Looking at my track map, they had quite a big lead through the S's.
Oh, yes, they did. Gap between Sedgwick and White, good and up to 1 second already in their class. Let's go back, though, and have a look in LMP1. We've got side-by-side of Eric. Oh, we've got a car going off even. That is Joseph Burton-Harris having to take to the escape road, and I think he's out.
Joel Guez as well. I don't know whether he was involved in that one. He wasn't. It was the number 31 machine of Eric Gavales. So, yes, Joseph Burton-Harris and Eric Gavales making contact through turn number 2 and 3. Joseph Burton-Harris is already going to be calling it a day in that number 29 Audi. Joel Guez, though, be interesting to find out what happened to him.
Yeah, indeed. What I saw was an incident down at turn number 1. So I think there was 2 incidents. One of Guez down at turn number 1. Second incident for Harris down at turn number 2. So on board of Patrick Wolf into the chicane here. As going back to have a look at LMP2. There's the gap already, Jack, between LMP1 and LMP2. It is the entirety of the back straightaway here, plus some. Carlo Labatti right now leads away by 1.2 seconds over Fraser Williamson.
I'm not entirely surprised that the LMP1 field has managed to get his way that fast from the LMP2 field. And in fact, going back and finding out what happened to Joel Guez there, Will, he made contact with Joseph Burton-Harris in turn number 1.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
Yeah, okay, so not a good start there for Joseph Burton-Harris, but yes, Carlo Labatti already pulling a nice gap over Fraser Williamson, but if I know Fraser, he will not be giving up. He's going to push that TBR LMP2 car as hard as he can to get that win, and I think he has a good chance here today. Just everyone needs to remember, stay patient in traffic. Do not get hot-headed, because if you do, you're going to start making mistakes. Mistakes is the last thing you want to make when the walls are so close around this circuit.
Yeah, I like the fact that TVR, liveried cars are back here. Apparently, Le Mans actually did something for them then. On board with the driver of Silvestri, 3rd place in your GTE field. GTE is closer, and it is closing up. Silvestri actually is closing up to the rear of Wyatt Goodham right now. We've also got a battle going on. P number 5, 6, 7, 8. They are all in the train. They've only really got 3 laps to settle it down before the LMP1 field will come charging through. I'll tell you one thing. We are going to have a RaceSpot TV fan immersion when Marcus Hamilton will go through that field for the first time. That will be incredibly fun to watch.
And for those of you watching at home that have never experienced what it's like to lap GTEs and LMP2s in an LMP1 car, riding on board with Marcus Hamilton or Patrick Wolf will give you the thrill. Driving it instead is even better. I recommend anyone to go and try it. But yes, this GTE field hasn't got long before they start getting LMP1s getting involved in their own battles. David Pena Jimenez looking like he's getting a little bit loose through 10A, 10B. Nice and steady in that Ferrari GTE in this nice big battle for P number 4 in class by the looks of it. But yes, GTE, they just need to settle down, get into a rhythm, because they know that in around 2-3 minutes time, they're going to have Marcus Hamilton and the whole LMP1 field. And in fact, I didn't even think it'll be that long.
No, it won't be, as we're having a look then at Silvestri running through turn number 2 right now. There is Marcus Hamilton. He's working himself down. Oh, look at that. Wolf is saying, okay, I'm going to get the move done early if I can. But Wolf, as a consequence, putting himself under pressure then from Fabrice Cornelius as they work themselves now through 2, through 3. Down the hill they come again. That was a 1 chance for Wolf. And this is what we mean. 1, 2 seconds maybe lost in one fell swoop there. As we get the graphic up on your screen, Patrick Wolf, well, he did actually lose that much there, so less than I thought, but he did get held up down through turn number 5. Now, this is what you need to do if you're leading the way. Get as past as many as you can, as quickly as you can. If you're Marcus Hamilton, let's ride then a lap on board of him. Fan immersion coming up. We've had issues with Kazuki Umeshima. Going to get the replay up for you right about now if we can. Jack, have you seen anything yet?
I have not. I'm now going to go and try and find out what happened to Kazuki. Yeah.
Oh, we might do. Oh, okay. There was a crash. We know that much.
There was a crash that looks like involving another LMP1.
Oh my word! There was a lot going on. A lot going on there down at turn number 2. We need to go back and have a look at this one again. I think from our aerial coverage, brought to you by And One Design. So this is on, but having looked up above, they were going 3 wide ahead of Kazuki then, in towards turn number 1. That was an LMP1 car, 2 GTE cars. Umeshima had nowhere to go.
It just looks as though the accident ahead started the Ford of Moritz Lohner, who started right at the back of the field. I don't know whether he got loose or didn't see him, and yeah, it just looks as though Florian Kruger actually was collecting that. Kazuki Okushima was just a little bit of an unlucky party in that one, but that lap on board with Marcus Hamilton, that gave me a thrill, and actually watching it from the view of Fabrice Cornelis just a little bit further back as well, you could see how much he was trying to get past Patrick Wolff. Hamilton makes a little bit of a mistake, even in the traffic, Will. So Cornelis and Wolff, those two were having a good scrap.
Yeah, also worth noting, Fraser Williamson up to the race lead in terms of LMP2. Antti Livoska behind Jesper Drulikler. They have been battling at it for most of this lap. Livoska has lost out for the time being. Texas versus Club Finland in towards the chicane. No change that time around. Ahead though, Carlo Labatti versus Ronnie Durig. They are really close as well in LMP2. Also worth noting that through your first sequence of traffic, Jack even, P1, P2, P3 remain very close together in LMP1.
They do. They're running as almost looks like a bit of a train. Marcus Hamilton, Patrick Wolff, Fabrice Cornelis, Wolff and Cornelis are teammates at Pure Racing Team. Marcus Hamilton is almost out there on his own. He's Thrustmaster Movano, so 2 versus 1. Obviously, still a long way in this race to go. 51 minutes remaining, and as it looks like the P1s are now going to approach the P2 traffic. And here we go. This is almost a place, actually, as Patrick Wolff goes for a very optimistic move. Cornelis are going to have the door slammed on him. He's now going to lose time to the top 2, but that's where you want to be careful, Will, because if it all goes wrong in that section of corners, it will end in tears. Not might end in tears, will end in tears.
Always will end in tears, as we're just having a look then. Patrick Wolff, still about half a second back from Marcus Hamilton right now. Just having a look though, and 3 in your field. We have a nice little scrap going on for P number 9 in GTE. We go on board at Dennis Gavrovsky then in the number 5 car, hunting down Carly Jansen. We've also got a good battle going on P number 4 and 5 in GTE as well.
Yeah, it looks as obviously Carly Jansen is making up for lost time earlier on in the race. Battle for P number 5 as well. P number 4, that is between Mirko Malika, Sejit Nibliski, David Pena Jimenez, looking like he's dropped off the back of that a little bit. So the Team RSO Porsche and Mirko Malika in the 12 Porsche are going to be going head to head. And actually, Will, something that I am going to quickly point out is your top 3 are all Fords, and then it's the Porsche. Looking like the Fords might be slightly stronger here at this circuit.
Well, yeah, Ford had an interesting time at Le Mans, shall we say. I have to say, normally Fords have got one of the most iconic liveries at Le Mans. They didn't this year because a little piggy went and got all of the glory, didn't they?
They did, and the piggy brought home the bacon.
I was trying not to say that.
Oh, I wanted to. Yes, of course. The Porsche did take their GT honours. It was a close battle at the front, though. I will admit that. I'm not going to comment any further because I support another team. But yes, Porsche did bring home, and I must say there were some cracking liveries at Le Mans this year.
Oh yeah, absolutely fantastic. And I tell you what, I've heard that most vendors were sold out of T-shirts by the end of the race. That normally doesn't happen. Justin Hopp, 2nd place right now in LMP2. As he's hunting down Fraser Williamson. Let's have a look at the lap graphic, shall we? And, well, I'll tell you one thing. They kind of just like swapping lap times right now. One will be attempting a bit faster one lap, the other attempting a bit faster the next lap. You kind of get into that rhythm at Road Atlanta sometimes. It's a kind of yo-yo push-pull effect. 1 minute you're doing better, 1 minute you're doing worse, but they are now LMP2's catching GTE.
Yeah, not too far up the road from Fraser Williams is going to be the last driver, or the first driver that he's going to catch that's in a big pack that is Thibaut Provost. in the number 17. So Fraser Williams and Justin Hopp, the two LMP2 leaders, now going to have to start navigating your GTE field. And for the LMP2s, it's a lot harder because down the straights they have a very similar top speed wheel, but they do not have the hybrid out of the corners that the LMP1s have to help them. And in fact, also, one thing I have just spotted, Patrick Wolf has got himself past Marcus Hamilton. Marcus Hamilton is off through 10B as well. But Fabrice Cornelis is off too. I think there has been contact. There has been contact with an LMP2 car for those drivers. LMP2 car spun. Marcus Hamilton took avoiding action. Cornelis, nowhere to go.
Where was that on track? We're having a look at replay right now for Fabrice Cornelis. This is down at turn 7. So presuming down into the chicane here, Jack.
End of the straight. It looks as though the LMP2 just got late on the brakes. I believe that was your driver of Jasper Delica in the number 18. He just got late on the brakes, a little bit too much rear brake bias on that car, and around he went, and yeah, big hit for Cornelis. But that does promote Patrick Wolf up into the lead, and Benefield now takes third.
Yeah, I want to have one more look on board of Hamilton for this one. This is him coming down, and that was a pass for the lead, as we saw. And Hamilton ends up almost being taken out the race at the same time. Look at that one. Having to tippy-toe around. Hamilton, though, down into P number 2.
Oh, Benefield has just been hit. Benefield has just been hit up into the... ended up into turn number 5 wheel by one of the PRT GTEs. That's Dennis Gabrowski in the number 5. Just looks as though he didn't anticipate how quickly Dan Benefield can stop that Porsche 919. Big damage for Benefield. It happened to him at Nürburgring. It's happened again.
Yeah. So, having a look then on board. We were on board of Daniel Benefield for a moment. So, let's go back down to GTE and have a look at P number 4. And P number 5, Cedric in the number 23 car versus Mikko Mikulika right now. And this is the one that we've been talking about. And it is so tight between the two of them right now. But they have got traffic behind all of a sudden.
Yes, they do, and actually last time around they did do almost identical lap times, not even a tenth between the 300ths of a second. So Jezny Nabelsic obviously using that team RSO and the draft of the car ahead of him to his advantage. He's just looking like obviously traffic is going to start playing into this. If Mikko can get held up, Cedric might have a good opportunity to pass Will if he can follow one of the LMP2s, especially if Mikko gets left on the outside and on the dirty line where he's going to lose a lot of time. Yeah,
so that is the battle going on for P number 4 on track. Oh, we've got Fabrice Cornelis out of the event right now officially. Maxime Delafilly, Grisbols even, is out as well in the number 38 machine. So a couple of people there, and Daniel Benefield's on pit road as well. So the attrition rate is pretty high here already. Get this, Jack. Already we have Joseph Burton Harris, Moritz Lohner, Florian Kruger, Kazuki Mishima, Kevin Ziggy, Maxime Delafilly, Bruce Boys. Dennis Gabrowski is on track actually, so I take that back. 6 drivers out of the event, and look at this massive group of cars in towards one.
Dan Benefield is going again. Kevin Siggy's Will is still out on circuit according to my screens. But yeah, looking like coming into turn number 6, you can just see the gaggle of cars coming down the back straight. This is what the LMP1 cars, Julian Ribolo having to go off the circuit to get around one of the LMP2 machines. I believe that was Antti Navosko as he goes around the Blue Flag Racing Ferrari of Patrick Fils. But it just looks as though the LMP1s, I'd probably say, are pushing a little bit too hard for such an early stage in the race. They still have 41 laps remaining. That is a long way to go. Julian Ribolo, though, using every single inch of the circuit and even more to get his way through traffic. And here, in fact, if you look at him now, ahead of him, he's got a GTE and a HPD up into one of the trickiest sections of the circuit.
Yeah, so there we are, past the GTE car, having to sit behind the LMP2 car, however, as he works himself down the hill again. Flick to the right, flick to the left, and staying behind. Ribolo is currently 3.8 seconds behind Chris Fuller, by the way, in battle for P number 9 on track. Let's go and have a look. Back in LMP2 battles actually have kind of really settled down for the moment. Fraser Williamson now with 2.4 second advantage over Justin Hopp. And Hopp has not really been able to capitalise through traffic at all.
No, I think he's just had the slightly less luck in traffic, and Fraser Williamson able to use it to his advantage. He does, of course, have the 24 machine of Dragon Nikic, now your third place in LMP1, and as he goes down onto the grass on the inside of turn number 11, that's what I mean by these drivers are pushing a little bit too hard, in my opinion, using every inch of the track they possibly can, Will. I think that's probably too far. They need to settle down. Still a long way to go. That's just over-aggressive. And if Fraser Williamson didn't see Dragon coming down on the inside, that's race over for both of them.
Yeah, I agree. It's just having a look through sector number 1, down the hill. Once again, great little scrap going on between these drivers. Behind, just having a look down back in GTE for a moment. Cedric's been able to pull out now 2.5 seconds over Wyatt Goodham in terms of your lead in class in GTE. And, well, Jack Sedgwick, we know how fast this guy can be. In that number 3 machine, heading himself now through turn number 7 on board of him. But the gap is kind of growing a little bit as well. It's now to, I need to just do something there. It's about 2.7 seconds now. So Sedgwick really chugging along.
Yeah, Sedgwick looking as though he's sort of into his groove that he needs to be in. He's just dealing with traffic properly. Last time around, Wyatt Goodham was faster by nearly a second, but I have a feeling that is to do with traffic. Joel Guez getting himself past Jack Sedgwick now and moving himself back up the overall order. But Jack Sedgwick for Inex Simucube, he is doing a sterling job up at the front of this field, and that's all he needs to do. Just keep it nice and steady and deal with the traffic in the best way possible without losing too much time. Wyatt Goodham, though, do not count him out, Will. He is a very, very capable driver and always one who will be fast when he needs to.
What, you mean another battle between Radicals Online and Inex Racing? I mean, we've been seeing that for about, 7 years now?
Yep, longer than I can remember.
On board with David Pena and Jimenez right now. Number 16 machine down the hill. He's got himself Cedric just ahead. Nice grab now. Top 5 in GTE.
Top 5 in GTE. This is for a crucial position. The more points, the better. Cedric Nobelsek is under pressure from David Pena Jimenez. He has caught up the gap using traffic to his advantage in that Ferrari. Ferrari versus Porsche. When haven't we seen this before? Well, they are going to have traffic coming out of turn at number 7 onto the straight this time. That is going to be Dan Benefield making up for lost time already. He's going to get himself nicely past. No issues there. David Pena Jimenez, all he needs to do is get himself a nice drag down the straight from Cedric Nobelsek, and he will be through on the inside if he can get late enough on the brakes.
Yeah, but although we have actually just had some technical difficulties for him, so we'll have to come back to that battle in a moment. I was going to say, in terms of battles involving horsepower, that was your literal horsepower battle going on there. Let's go back to LMP1 for a moment. We've got ourselves battles between Ashley Owen, number 21 machine, and Dragon Nikic then in the number 24 car. Very, very yellow number 24 car. That number Club DX number 24.
You can't miss it, can you? It sort of stands out. You sort of see it and you go, whoa, that's a bit bright. But yes, Ashley Owen, a very capable driver, obviously wanting to make up a few more positions. Dragon Nikic has got that podium position at the moment from the attrition level that we have seen so far today. Dan Benefield and Fabrice Cornelis both crashing out from 3rd place. And if I was Dragon Nikic, I'd be a bit scared, because actually, that seems like a bit of an unlucky place to be. Is actually, he gets a really horrible line. Rear wheels, commentator's curse to its best. Rear wheels flying off of the deck coming through turn number 3. I said that at the wrong moment, didn't I?
Yep. Off you go and sit away for a few moments. Replay.
I'll just back into my corner.
Yep, replay. I mean, the thing is, they can call it a curse with the commentators, but let's be honest about this. It was them who made the mistake in the first place, Jack.
If I was Dragon Nikic, I wouldn't be going for the move there. I know that Porsche will be able to stick to the inside through that long left-hander down the hill. And I know for a fact that in that Porsche 919, I'm going to have enough power and enough downforce to get around the outside. That was an over-optimistic move. He has dropped down to 5th in the positions into the clutches of Julian Ribolo, who we've already seen is not scared to use more of the track than is currently available. But yes, Dragon Nikic, an over-optimistic move in my view.
Yeah, so down into P number 5 right now. You are right, though. It seems to be that, oh my word, lots of traffic going on. It seems to be that being 3rd place at LMP1 is not the place to be here today. on board with Marcus Hamilton. He's closing up then. Look at the run he's had over the last couple of corners down to the inside. LMP2 car got it. Now Hamilton closing on to Patrick Wolf again. He's made good use of the trafficless lap.
Marcus Hamilton is clearly using it to his advantage. Ronald Grossman kept nicely out of the way, and actually he's sticking in the draft. You can see him darting in and out between cars on your screens. Patrick Wolf is not doing a similar strategy. Marcus Hamilton, that's going to be a few hundredths, few tenths at the push, coming down into 10A, 10B for the 20th time. Laps already racking up with 38 minutes remaining in this 1 hour race, and Marcus Hamilton clearly on the charge. He was 2/10 quicker than Patrick Wolf last time around. This time around, Patrick Wolf sets a 1:07, and Marcus Hamilton goes almost a second quicker. Traffic is clearly playing into Marcus Hamilton's hand, but Patrick Wolf has been able to get away over the past few laps.
I tell you what, when the LMP1 car was announced, there was a number of drivers that people started circling as would-be great LMP1 drivers. Marcus Hamilton and Patrick Wolf were clearly two of those. But the thing about Hamilton is, as he really closes now on Wolf, he's been so good over traffic over the years than everything that we've seen him here on iRacing. But now Hamilton is like a wolf hunting a wolf on the exit of 7. Now down towards the chicane. On board with Marcus Hamilton. This could happen at any moment.
This could indeed happen at any moment. A little bit of traffic. They're going to clear that before the 10A, 10B chicane. Ducking into the slipstream of Jack Sedgwick until the very last moment. Marcus Hamilton not close enough this time to make a move as they come through that chicane. Run down the hill to start lap number 22. Marcus Hamilton's going to have a far quicker lap this time around. You can already see half a second between the two. Marcus Hamilton, if he can get the right amount of boost coming off of turn number 1 or turn number 5 wheel, he's got a free position and moving himself back up onto the top step of your podium with 36 minutes remaining.
Yeah, having a look then from our aerial coverage brought to you by And1 Design down the hill. Right, left again. Yeah, not much yet, but this could be an opportunity on the exit of turn 5. No real traffic load to play advantage for Marcus Hamilton, so we'll have to come back to this one because we have got ourselves battles carrying on in GTE. 2 Porsches going at it. It is the number 12 and the number 23 cars battling for P number 4.
This battle has been going on for almost all race long so far. They're putting up a great fight. And Miko Malika is doing a sterling job to hold off Cedric Nobilsik. Sorry if I got your names wrong. For P number 4. And Cedric hasn't been making it easy. He's been trying to attack at every single corner, Will. And I have in fact seen them try and get side by side. But Cedric looking like he is closer now than he was at certain points in the race. As Miko darts across to try and get just a tiny little bit of Julian Rebelo slipstream as he darts off into the distance in that Audi R18.
Yeah, look at the traffic then down the back straight away. Well, that was the busiest part. Then I'll come through the chicane. Let's keep an eye out on this lovely camera. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cars in as many seconds there, Jack.
Yeah, I think it's incredible how quickly, and also, they aren't all the same class. It's this multi-class feeling that we get with the iRacing Le Mans series, and isn't it just brilliant, Will? Because 3 different classes out on track, all having their own battles, but also every single person affects each other in the fact we've seen it with Marcus Hamilton and Patrick Wolf at the front, and I'm sure we're going to see it with multiple other drivers coming out towards the end of this race. It's so great to see multi-class racing and everyone having such a good, clean race, and I think the drivers in the LMP1 cars and the LMP2 cars are starting to get a little bit more patient now, and that's what they need to do as Patrick Fliss gets slightly loose on the exit of turn number 5, which always seems to eat drivers into the wall and take them out of the race.
Ronnie Durek versus Ronald Grossman then for P number 7. LMP2, gap 4 tenths per second, down and towards the chicane they come once again. Turn number 9, 10. To the left, uphill through turn the next corner. I tell you what, I have actually been in a golf buggy coming down this hill, and it's far scarier than you think, as actually Grossman on towards pit road.
Unfortunately, I've never had the joy of going to this circuit. One day I will go. One day I will go to Petit Le Mans because it is such a great race. But, of course, this circuit is so challenging, always provides great racing, even if they have to rebuild the circuit halfway through a race. But, of course, Road Atlanta is always a difficult one because it's so tight, so twisty, and that's why it creates great racing. But it's also one of the drivers' favourites because of how much they have to think. It's not like Le Mans where you have 2 back straights. Don't get me wrong, it's a brilliant circuit. As the number 2 car, Fabrice Cornelis, looks like he's back out on circuit. But of course, Road Atlanta still one of the greats in the motorsport world. In fact, actually, who's that behind Fabrice Corniellis trying to go down the inside? That's Eric Gaviles. They touch. And obviously, Fabrice Corniellis is 8 laps down, Will. Not sure those two should be getting in a fight.
No. I will say one thing. I have been to Road Atlanta on Petit Le Mans weekend. Wasn't able to see the Petit Le Mans. I had to go back to work the next day, so I was on a flight out of the country before you knew it. But I was going to say, you talk about elevation changes, and we're on board right now with Galvez. In this Golf buggy, quick story, came up the hill, stopped by the race marshal. This is when my ankle was not behaving, shall we say, and I was on crutches. And he's like, why are you in a Golf buggy? He said it was a walking tour of the track. He explained the situation. I was like, okay. Next time, let me know in advance. I ended up then going full pelt in this Golf buggy, down through the final corner, 2 wheels hanging off it, because you don't realise just how big a dip it is, Jack. You're accelerating like there's no tomorrow.
It's one of those circuits. I mean, there's circuits which have great elevation changes. Road Atlanta, Cadwell Park in the UK. For those of you who haven't seen pictures of Cadwell Park, go and have a look at the elevation change on the back straight and then coming up the mountain. I tell you, it's literally a mountain. And there are also Spa as well, Eau Rouge. I know you've been, Will, and I know other people who have been, and they've all said that Spa looks far steeper in real life than it is in the real world. And it's that elevation change that sometimes actually unsettles a car. You have to set a car up differently for elevation change, especially in that 3, 4, 5 chicane at Road Atlanta and for Eau Rouge at Spa than you do at traditional circuits like Silverstone, where the slightest bump is not even an elevation change.
31 minutes, 46 seconds remaining in this event. Round number 2 of the iRacing Le Mans Series. Don't forget, tomorrow here on Racespot TV, we are going to have ourselves a 6-hour race at Watkins Glen International. Racespot TV presents the 6 hours of Watkins Glen International. That's another track, Jack, where the elevation changes and the camera changes are taken completely for granted.
I absolutely love Watkins Glen. It's such a great circuit. And of course, for 6 hours, these cars tomorrow are going to be growing around. And also, the Majors Le Mans 24, we are going to be bringing you the first 6 hours of that one as well. They're both on at the same time. So I'd recommend having one open on each screen, because if I were you, they're both going to be worth watching. They're both going to provide exciting racing. Battle back at the front of your field has now gone out. It is over by the looks of it for now, because traffic has played into Patrick Wolf's hand this time. Marcus Hamilton now 3.5 seconds back.
Yeah, so we're having a look at Andre Borges, just got himself past Bruno Fontabla. That's for P number 8 on track. Catch both of those races tomorrow here on Racespot TV and on iRacing Live. As just go back to have a look in LMP2. We've got one battle going on. Ronnie Durek has found someone else to fight with. He's now got the number 34 machine hot on his chart. The gap is 1 second between the two of them.
The gap is indeed 1 second between the two of them. Ronnie Durek, one of the drivers who we quite often see in the LMP2 category. Loic Galdarou, I'm going to have an attempt, I think it's right, in the number 34 machine. It's close behind, although at the moment not close enough to make a move, Will. They are now more than a second gap.
Yeah, they are. Let's run through then your standings in each of your classes as we just tick over past half race distance here. We start with your LMP field. Patrick Wolf leading the way, 2.6 seconds ahead of Marcus Hamilton. Ashley Owen third, although Owen has just come on towards pit road by the look of it, as has Julian Ribelow. So that one is changing in real time, but there are your top 8 as a standard coming into the lap. Into LMP2, Fraser Williamson leading the way over Carlo Labassi, Anthony Voska in third, Rennie Pinkett in fourth, Justin Hopp, Ronnie Durig, P5, 6, although we have had some pit stops there as well. No pit stops yet in GTE. Cedric leads by 6 seconds now over Wyatt Goodham. Vincenzo Silvestri in third, Miko Malinka in fourth, Cedric Nablesk, Carl Janssen, Patrick Fils, and Andre Borcher are your top 8 there, Jack.
They are indeed, and this is changing. LMP1 we're going to probably have to wait 3 or 4 laps before this all settles down, because we have now reached the halfway stage. Everyone's now going to be pretty empty in those fuel tanks. It's all going to be about who's going to save the most fuel to who's going to have the shortest pit stop. Marcus Hamilton bringing his number 8 car down onto the lane. Patrick Wolf goes one longer. Can Marcus Hamilton get the undercut? He is, of course, in that final pit stall. Strategy has all of a sudden played into it. If Marcus Hamilton can gain any time at all, he's going to do it in the pit stops or in traffic. And at the moment, the pit stops is looking good. He is still up. The longest we've seen so far is about 18 seconds. Shortest 16. He's out and away in 16.9. Chris Fuller going to come down as the lane from 3rd position. Patrick Wolf, though, looking like he might come down at the end of lap number 29. If so, that is going to be the longest LMP1 stint we have seen so far.
Yeah, let's go back. As it looks as though that there's still a battle going on. Mika Malinka has got himself up into 4th place by the look of it. One of the many World Championship drivers we have here on iRacing. Patrick Phillips as well. Let's talk about him in a moment's time. Cars coming out of pit road. This battle going on, P4, P5 in class. This is really close right now. Cedric Nisblek, I believe he has actually lost a position. No, he's down into P4.
I don't think they have changed. As Cedric Nobel's looking like he's trying to get past. He's closer than he has been before. Got a good run off of that final corner into turn number 1. Patrick Wolf is down and still. He's now going off of the lane. Nebelsik down to the inside of turn number 1. Nice and easy move as one of the Pure Racing team. That's Fabrice Cornelis in the LMP1, or Patrick Wolf. Probably Patrick Wolf, because he's just come out of the pit lane. Nebelsik getting himself past Nakila in the number 12 Porsche up into position number 4. He's been waiting about 33 minutes to get that move done, Will. He's finally got the move complete.
Yeah, as we're having a look then at the number 23 car on board of him. Let's show you how it happened. Through final corner. Start-finish line. Bit of an early shift, actually. Might have helped him a little bit. Just get a little bit of momentum. And then just slings it down to the inside. No second thoughts about it. And actually, that was really useful knowing that there's an LMP car coming up behind Jack. Because at some point, one of them was going to have to move out the way anyway. So by going too wide, he's going to force his opponent to the outside. And I think there we're just thinking more about the LMP2 car and not the number 23.
Yeah, I think so indeed. And that's what you need to do as a GTE driver, to try and get your way past traffic in the safest way possible, not to have an incident. If you just think about where that car's going to be mid-corner, exit the corner, and even in the start of the corner, it can make your life 100% easier. Mikko Makila obviously using that traffic to a little bit of a disadvantage, but he has come out of it unscathed. But of course, now down to P5 in GTE.
Andre Borcher up into P number 7, just saw the pass there over Patrick Fliss. And, well, that's all because of the fact that Borcher had an incident on the first lap of this motor race. We saw it then live. As a consequence of that, Andre Borcher's having been charged back through the field from about P15 he was at one point, Jack?
I think he dropped down to P14, but of course he is now back up to P7 in class in the number 6 Ford. He is looking to get higher. Next car on track for him is Patrick Fliss. He is a little bit further up the road. But, of course, in fact, actually, I think Andre Borcher has got himself past Patrick Fliss. He has now, indeed, yes. So, next car on the road for Andre Borcher, I got it wrong, but I'm going to get it right now, is Carl Janssen in 6th, and he is currently within that battle, is in fact 4th, 5th, and 6th in GTE, all running as one big train. Carl Janssen now looking like he's going to try and get around Mikko Makila in the number 12 Porsche.
Yeah, and Carly Janssen, is he going to try and get an inside line? He's going to try and do so in towards 1. No, he's going to try and go high side instead. There's going to be LMP traffic involved there as well. Contact between the two of them, and Janssen is the driver suffering the consequences.
Janssen is indeed the driver suffering the consequences, just looking like he maybe had a little bit too of an optimistic move for position number 5, but he will try again in the number 4 Ford. He has lost quite a lot of ground. That gap between himself and Mikko Makila is now half a second and not the 1 or 2 tenths that it was. But Cedric Nobelsik is being able to get away from all of this now. Gap between himself and Mikko in 5th is now 9 tenths of a second and growing by the corner.
Oh, Carly Janssen then losing out. But there's still pit stops to go. As we've got your race leader in LMP2 on pit road, that is Fraser Williamson.
Fraser Williamson down to make his one scheduled stop of the race. Carlo Labate going to be following him as well. Obviously, those two have changed from where they started on the grid, Will. Not being able to do much else, that battle ended pretty quickly. So Carlo Labate and Fraser Williamson actually going to be next to each other. Both hit their pit stalls as they should, and we would expect to see Fraser Williamson out before Carlo. And indeed he is. He is away. 15.9 second stop for him in LMP2. Carlo Labate still stopped, but I'd expect a very similar time.
Yep, so having a look then at pit stop time for Labate. A little bit slower coming out of pit road, though. 16.3 there for Labate, and actually that is 0.7 of a second slower than Fraser Williamson.
It could have been a case of, I think he did go a little bit deep, but whether we had to just reverse a little bit, it might have taken a little bit more fuel. Fraser Williamson, or even Fraser Williamson, has managed to save a little bit more fuel in the LMP2 class. Obviously, traffic again, you are going to be able to save fuel as Carlo Labate gets held up into P number 5 behind one of your Porsche GTEs. That is going to be the car of Bruno Fontable in the number 10. But of course, fuel saving is important, because if you can save a little bit more fuel like Patrick Wolff did, you can have less time on the lane. His pit stop time, Will, was almost 2 seconds faster than Marcus Hamilton. Gap between those two now is 6.2 seconds.
Yeah, it's either that, or it's more of a case of Wolff maybe just being a little bit more aggressive on strategy to an extent. We see that a lot on Sunday night skippies, the 2K World Cup. Some drivers just thinking or getting their calculations better, as Chris Fuller right now closing up to the rear of Julian Ribolet. That is an LMP1 with 22 minutes to go in this event. Through turn number 1, up the hill they come again. And Fuller not doing a bad job here today.
Fuller is indeed doing a very good job. He's up 3 spaces from where he started. Julian Ribolet, though, he's up from 13th to 4th. He's had a very good race. Those two are going to close up big time through turn number 5 as Julian Ribolet gets held up by one of the Ferraris. That's going to be David, I think that's David Pena Jimenez, if I remember correctly. It is indeed Chris Fuller, Julian Ribolet now. This battle has got even closer. If Chris Fuller can get a little bit more boost, which the Porsche does have a little bit more of an advantage on over the Audi out of the corners sometimes at some circuits. All depends on the setup as well. You can run low downforce here in the LMP1s, but you have to be really careful lapping traffic, especially if you're going around the outside in a fast corner. Chris Fuller looking to the outside into turn 10A. Julian Ribolet got the inside line. He's got the favourable one. Chris Fuller going to have to give up that attack that time.
Yep, but LMP1's, of course, hybrid power involved in that as well. So it's a gap of 0.6 of a second can come down a lot quicker than what you might have in an LMP2 car. But Fuller needs to do a bit of recharging now. Settle down, give it a lap or so. Maybe use traffic to his advantage as Antti Livoska is on pit road as we speak. Coming out of pit road. P number 4.
P number 4 indeed. And Chris Fuller, actually, looking at his pit stop time, he had the longest of any of the LMP1s on 19.6, so he has lost some time in the pits. But of course, he just needs to recharge those batteries, make that 919 have a little bit more power. If he can just, even if it's 1 or 2% more hybrid than what Julian Ribolet has got, he's going to have the upper hand. Also depends on the hybrid setting that he is using. Of course, he can use a little bit more if he wishes. The gap, look at that, Will, the gap is closing up. That's what I mean. Chris Fuller, a little bit more hybrid use than Julian Ribolet. I think he might have the move as they go side by side into 10A, 10B once again. Chris Fuller going to try and go around the outside. He's got the inside line for the next corner. Julian Ribolet getting a good drive off of the 10B through 11 and 12, and in fact, he holds on to that position. I think Julian Ribolet is actually running a slightly higher hybrid setting, so he has a little bit more power out of the corners. Chris Fuller, though, using it in a straight line along that back straight into turn number 10.
Yeah, replay. Let's show it for you then. So Fuller gets to run, has the inside line, but Ribolet's like, nope. Hybrid power engaged, gets himself past, back into position. This is a great little scrap for P number 4 there. Apologies. The cameramen had fallen asleep down at turn number 10 for a couple of moments, but we've woken them back up, fed them some energy drinks, and they'll be good to go to the end of the race.
Indeed so, and it's going to be an interesting battle to keep an eye on. This is the only battle in LMP1 as it stands, with Joel Guez making his way back up the field, getting past Fraser Williamson in just a moment's time. But going to stick with this one. Chris Fuller, Julian Ribolet once again Has Chris Fuller done enough on the hybrid to get himself even side by side into 10A10B? Julian Ribelow going to hold that inside line once again, but he's going to be able to hold the position. Chris Fuller having to jump on the brakes early because of the extra speed that he's carrying, and another opportunity lost. He's still got 18 more laps, 18 more opportunities at that very corner, as in fact, actually, he's going to get held up behind, I believe that's a CMRC.DE Ferrari through turn number 12 that time, and that gap is now grown to almost a second. It is now half a second.
Let's go back to GTE for a couple of moments. So on board with Bruno Fontabla versus Patrick Fliss as they head themselves down towards that chicane that we've been talking about all day long. No hybrid power in GTE. Not yet anyway. One day, Jack, you never know. I mean, GTP will be happening, of course, in 2021, but you never know. GTE might end up having a little bit of hybrid in there themselves before too long, as prototypes develop the technology. GT cars end up using the technology.
Well, a little bit of trivia for those who do not know. Back in the early 2013-2014, the hybrid system that Toyota used on their cars was something called a supercapacitor. The supercapacitor was developed for the Toyota, it was the Toyota hybrid, the Prius, that's what it's called. And of course, what an ugly car that is. But they then realised that the supercapacitor was too expensive to make, so they used it on road cars. So actually, and in fact, Toyota, their whole R&D, their whole program is built off of their R&D budget. As Patrick Fliss almost having an incident with one of the LMP1 cars. That's Dan Benefield making his way back up through the field. Almost trouble for him again in the same area of the section. But yes, the R&D is happening on the prototypes. Maybe one day I'd like to see it come down to the GTEs, but at the moment, keep it as it is. It's exciting.
Wait a minute. Wyatt Gooden's no longer leading this motor race. Something's happened to Wyatt Gooden.
Wyatt Gooden's on pit road.
I think he's had a crash. Oh, no, he is on pit road. I take that back. Yes, sorry. Wyatt Gooden is on pit road. They haven't pitted yet. I was worried because he's falling down my timing screens, but I think what had happened was he was just coming in towards pit road. Unless he made an incident here, it just weirds up the timing course because this pit road is very, well, difficult to get into. You slow it down early, so the cars that actually stay on track, they do actually gain quite a bit of time. And you just see how tight the entry is as well on towards pit road. So no crash there for Gooden, but he is making his pit stop from the race lead.
He is indeed, and I think he was actually making this pit stop from second, Will. Don't think he ever actually gained the lead off of Jack Sedgwick. Yeah, I thought it was. When you said Wyatt Gooden was in the lead, I got very confused. Jack Sedgwick, of course, still leading your GTE field. He is going to be bringing himself down onto the lane, potentially this time, as he comes through 10A, 10B. I would expect to see all of your GTE pit stops happening in the not-too-distant future. Jack Sedgwick going to be sticking right this time. Sedgwick going to be bringing his number 3, 4 down onto the lane. Wyatt Gooden had a stop time of, it looks as though 12.4. Jack Sedgwick, though, he's hit the wall on pit entry. That's going to lose him time. He got squirreled up with getting off the speed. Heavy damage by the looks of it. Oh, no, not too much damage on that number 3. He got away from that one lightly without having steering damage, because if you hit the side of those cars, you'd pretty much damage him for the rest of the race.
4GT, hit it out the front, hit it at the rear, you might be okay. Having a look at the car there, it looks fine. It looks fine for the time being, out and away in 10.4 seconds, so faster still than Wyatt Gooden, but that was a close call. We would like to apologise to the family of that yellow cone as well.
Yeah, the yellow cone, unfortunately, an innocent party in that incident. Jack Sedgwick is, of course, back out and away in a time of 10.7 seconds. His stop was 12.4 seconds faster than anyone else, and actually, I think, I'm not sure on this one, I think he might have kept the lead. No, Bruno Fontabla has inherited the lead of GTE, although I'd expect him down onto the lane within 2 laps' time.
Yep, so Fontabla then going, and this might help him actually, because he's been involved in really close battles, Jack. And because of the fact he's staying out longer, his pit stop time should be shorter, only a quarter of an hour to go.
Of course, in fact, the shorter the pit stop you can have, you saw how close that battle was between them. That could get him past not 1 but 2 cars, Will, up 2 positions. Vital points for him in the championship. But of course, Jack Sedgwick, I think for Bruno Fontabla, he needs to get down to the lane this time to make sure that he doesn't lose any time in the battle with Jack Sedgwick or letting Sedgwick through.
James King on YouTube. Jack's clearly taking lessons from Johan Halberg, who did exactly that in the 2014 Petit Le Mans for them. So hello to Jack King, hello to everyone watching on Facebook, and Bruno Fontabla is indeed on pit road. Won't lead the lap, worth noting.
Yes, he will not lead the laps. That will not be a lap counted in the lead for him. Jack Sedgwick, though, going to lead another lap. And I believe, actually, he has led all of the 36 laps we have seen so far, Will. No one else has got close to the front of that field.
Yeah, we're keeping it with Fontable right now because this is going to be very, very close as he comes out of pit road. Let's put the speedo up. And Fontable there doing that whole little thing with the gears, trying to get the extra 10th or so mile an hour out of pit road. How close is it going to be? Where are the guys around him? He's got Fliss. Actually, I'll tell you one thing. He's ahead of Fliss. He's ahead of Borcher right now, P number 6 from Fontable, but he's behind Janssen and the number 23 car of Cedric. So, a bit anticlimactic there.
Yeah, I think it was, but in fact, I think he might have jumped that whole pack that he was fighting with there, Will. Carl Janssen looking like he's going to be getting on the voice chat with someone. Yeah, Janssen is out indeed. What's happened there?
I think he just hit the incident limit points. I think we just saw it as well. So we're on board with Carly Janssen. I think he had an incident with an LMP car in the exit of 5. And he's got himself past the incident limit. Now, we will talk about that one in a moment. Here's a moment. Yeah, there's a 1X there. Gone. Incident limit here. This track, in my opinion, is probably the hardest after Spa in terms of incident limits and off tracks.
I would agree. Spa is horrible with the off tracks. You've got to be so careful. Road Atlanta is the same. That exit of that turn number 5, if you just put 1 or 2 wheels onto that grass on the outside, you're going to get yourself an off-track incident point. Carl Janssen learning that the hard way. I think there was also a little bit of contact between himself and that HP or the LMP2 car, Will. Not sure why, though. It just sounded like there was. But yes, Carl Janssen, one of your front runners, one of your race favourites, is all of a sudden out of the motor race.
On board, Andre Borcher. Borcher back into where he really should have been earlier on. In fact, he should have still been about 3-4 positions higher. But Borcher trying to get a top 5 right now. Top 5 isn't too hard for him. He's only going to get up more 2 positions. He's in P number 7 right now. And Andre Borcher trying to catch Fliss as having a look through. And, well, Fliss, I think he was going to try and get him this lap. Can't do so anymore.
No, I don't think he can. The gap is too big between them. They are within a second. It is 6 seconds between these, or 6/10 between these two guys. But of course, nothing is going to be happening between them. It also looks as though Bruno Fontable and Cedric Nabilsek are going to be within a battle. If Bruno Fontable can close down the gap, Will, that's going to be your battle for position number 4 in GTE. Although one driver who I don't think we've mentioned very much of, but I think does need a little bit of a mention running in 3rd at the moment. Vincenzo Silvestri, he's had a bit of a quiet race so far on the number 14 Ford. He's just minding his own business, letting traffic get past him in the way that they should, and running up on the podium positions. All he needs to do is survive 10 more laps, and he will be bringing that Ford down on to victory lane, or at least onto the podium.
Well, yeah, onto the podium for the time being, as this lovely battle going on from the rear now of Patrick Fliss as we go. Actually, wrong angle. Let's try this one, shall we, through turn number 5. On board of Fliss and Central Eastern Europe car driver. Turn 5 is the one corner where you can run wide, but you don't want to run too wide. It's a bit like Pure, where you really want to attack the corner. Do it too much, Jack, you get yourself one of those treacherous off tracks. And it'll be really interesting to know how many people are close to the limit right now.
I'm just having a look at my screens. It does look like, I'm not sure, it's not entirely accurate. I can see 1 or 2 who are up in the 15s. Jack Sedgwick, according to my screen, running at 16 incident points. The limit is 17, so if Jack Sedgwick gets 1 more incident point, which isn't hard to miss, it's very easy to get one. As oh, look at that, the traffic. It's actually Bruno Fontable now losing a lot of time to LMP2 traffic. That's going to bring him back into the battle between Patrick Fliss and Andre Borcher. But these guys do have to be careful in the closing. Borcher has indeed got the run. They made contact. Borcher going to lose some time. Is he going to make a move down to turn number 1? He's not. Fliss shuts the door. But Andre Borcher almost taking out Patrick Fliss from this race. Very bad end that would have been to this battle, but it does continue. LMP1, LMP2 traffic now coming through 3, 4, and 5. That section of corners. Joel Guez looking like he's just going to hang back and wait. Car off in the distance. That is Bruno Fontable. Fontable is off. Does he collect Joel Guez? He doesn't, but that looks as though something went horribly wrong for him. He had an LMP1 up his inside, avoiding action for Bruno, and off onto the grass he goes. Lucky no one else was involved in that. Joel Guez very close to disaster.
Right, let's have a look. Doesn't hit a car here. Doing his own thing. LMP1 overtaking LMP2, overtaking, and well, Fontable, I think just had to change direction at the last minute. Goes off onto the grass, and oh my word, that was closer to the LMP car.
That was very close. That was Joel Guez in the LMP1 car. He scathed, actually, his teammate to Bruno Fontable. That would have been bad, teammate taking out teammate. We do see it sometimes, but not very often, but they all carry on. Bruno Fontable, though, has lost a lot of positions. He's gone from P number 4 to P number 8. After his gaining in the pit stops, he has now lost all of that and even more, just with an unlucky move with a hard-charging Dan Benefield in the LMP1s.
Tell you what, Bruno Fontable, if you want to do Rallycross, don't forget you can on iRacing. The iRacing Rallycross World Championship kicked off yesterday, Jack. You can catch that on the iRacing YouTube page. And of course, brought to you by Racebot TV all season long. Mitchell de Jong, spoiler alert, he won. What a surprise.
It's not really too surprising, seems as a certain Scott Speed wasn't able to race. So Mitchell de Jong, I think he didn't really have much of a challenge. Obviously, there are some very quick drivers in that series. One of the ones who was giving Mitchell de Jong a challenge in the heats was Stilian Shiplewski. He is going to be one to watch out for throughout the season. Very capable driver from Club UKNI. And of course, it has to be noted that the guys in Europe are staying up till 2-3 a.m. to do that event, Will. That's incredible.
I sometimes struggle staying up to 2-3 a.m. commentating. By the way, Scott Speed, thank you for basically standing us up last night. That's all we're going to say. Supposed to be with us on the Racebot TV booth. Didn't show. It's okay. We'll see you next time. Kevin Ziggy down to the inside and getting P number 10, P number 9 even then, over Froban Probst and moving himself ahead of that number 17 car. Ziggy up to P number 9. In GTE. I want to focus for a moment though on Cedric. You say he's got one more incident point remaining, Jack. He is leading. There's 7 minutes to go. Gap is 15 seconds, but he's really got to be careful now.
He's got to be extremely careful. He's still got 6 more laps remaining in this race. Obviously, I do not have an accurate number of incident points. I'm going off what my telemetry is telling me, and it's not always 100% true, but Jack Sedgwick is indeed being extremely careful. His lap times, though, aren't tailing off. Still in the 16.9s, low 17s. Quicker than what Wyatt Gooden can achieve in second place, and Wyatt Gooden is a long way behind. Gap now, your leaders is around 15-16 seconds, so Jack Sedgwick just having a nice easy day up at the front.
Yeah, but it's worth noting as well, you talk about like trying to save incident points. The last thing you want to do sometimes is start going a second and a half a lap slower, because you're more prone then to making mistakes. You want to drive that 97 to 99% bracket. As we're on board of Julian Ribolo, he's lost now a second this lap to Chris Bullitt in what is the battle for P4.
Yes, he has indeed. And just going back to what you quickly said there, Will, for the first 5-10 minutes, you want to be on the edge. Once you start getting lapped by traffic, especially in the GTEs, you don't want to be pushing as hard, because you know people are going to try and go around the outside, around the inside. You have to be wary where other people are. That takes concentration away from driving the car fast, which does make it harder. Although Julian Ribolo and Chris Fuller, this battle is still going on. Chris Fuller has got his way past Julian Ribolo in the recent laps, Will, but it looks as though Julian Ribolo wants to get back past in that Simersock car. And the Audi R18 versus Porsche 919, that battle in the real world was always a great one to see. 2016 Silverstone always stays fresh in my mind, and once again, it's happening again here on iRacing, and how great is that?
You know, the thing is, like, they have an IndyCar, a pit stop challenge Friday before the Indy 500. What I really wanted to see was a gearbox and engine change between Audi and Porsche. A challenge that way. That would have been fun to see.
Isn't that just ripping out the rear bodywork and then putting a new one in? Oh, wait, no, hang on. We're not in the year of the R8s, are we? We're now on to New Year's and New Year's.
It was a 3-minute 40-second gearbox change I had that year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was basic. So for those who don't know, Audi found that their R8 back in the early 2000s, their LMP car, had a bit of an issue with gearboxes, and they like blowing up. So they devised a way of fitting the gearbox to the rear body panel. So all they could do was rip it out, put a new one in, back out on circuit they go. That's how you do a 3-minute 40 gearbox change, ladies and gentlemen. It is fair to say the ATO have ruled it out, no longer legal to do. But actually, we did see this at Le Mans, Will. People running different wing settings and rather getting a spanner out and changing the wing settings like we see in IndyCar, they just rip the front nose off and put a new one on.
It's quicker, and also, especially if you want to do it detailed, if you do it in a pit stop, they're talking about an IndyCar, 2-3 clicks of front wing. You're not entirely sure if that's going to work. Different drivers have different settings, for example. Just change the front bodywork. It's easier sometimes. Porsche right behind Patrick Fliss right now. Battle for P number 5 on track.
Battle for P number 4 as well in LMP1. Chris Fuller just lost a lot of time behind one of your LMP2 field. Julian Ribelow managing to close up the gap. So all of a sudden, Julian Ribelow, the time he lost, he's made contact. I believe that's Justin Hobbs, second place in LMP2, having some issues with your 5th place in LMP1. Battle for P number 5 as well, out on your GTE field. Andre Butcher has got his way past Patrick Fliss there through 10A, 10B. I'd expect that to be a nice, easy move using the draft, and it was indeed. On the brakes, he managed to get it. Patrick Fliss just letting him have the position. He is going to try and battle back around the outside through turn number 1. Can he get the undercut on the exit? I don't think he can. Andre Botcher going to attempt to hold the position. You do not want to go side by side through there. We're going to see a repeat of what we saw earlier on in the race.
Yeah, indeed. So let's go back there and have a look at your race leader in LMP2. Not really talked about him. Team Bushwick Racing's Fraser Williamson leading the way right now in LMP2, and a nice big gap then drawing out for him.
Quiet day for the Scotsman up at the front. He's now got a lead of 4 seconds after that incident for Justin Hobb. Patrick Wolf is on pit lane, Will.
Oh my word, well, we talked about how fast his first pit stop was, and we talked about sometimes, Jack, in things like something like Skippy's, people try and push the envelope too much. Wolf did that, and he failed.
3 laps short for Pure Racing Team. Marcus Hamilton has just been gifted a win, basically. Ashley Owen is nowhere near to even challenge, and Ashley Owen going to get himself past Patrick Wolf. Patrick Wolf, that's a long stop for him.
Why are you taking tyres?
13 seconds.
Why are you taking tyres?
You've got 3 laps. Why? But Patrick Wolf, a massive strategy blunder for him. I don't know whether the tyres just fell off a cliff, Will. They shouldn't do in these temperatures. That's an odd pit stop for Patrick.
You know what? It was a case of he had to come in towards pit road last minute, forgot to say, I don't want tyres. They gave him tyres anyway. Fast lap of the day going to be set by Patrick Wolf any minute now? I think so. I mean, he's got a fast lap of the day anyway, 104.918. But I tell you what, his next lap is going to be phenomenally quick. I'm going to say 104.7.
I'm going to say a 104.3.
Okay. Keep that in mind. As the number 24 machine making a second pit stop as well. So some of the LMP1 guys cutting it too fine today.
I did say this before, a circuit with high fuel consumption, we can have it where the LMP1 cars actually struggle to do a full second stint. If you pit on the halfway mark, you'll be fine, you'll get to the end, but these guys are actually I think they're using too much fuel, Will. Obviously, you have got the fuel settings you can use to save a little bit of fuel. Patrick Wolf starts lap number 53. He has got traffic this time. I do not expect to see a fastest lap. He needs a clear run to be able to get that fastest lap, and I don't think he's going to do it looking at the traffic that is ahead of him, but yes. Some of these LMP1 cars not getting the strategy spot on. You do not want to be making a pit stop with 2.5 laps left in a motor race.
No.
Well, in fact, for Marcus Hamilton, 1.
Well, yeah, just having a look here. This will not be the white flag just yet, but coming out of the chicane then for Marcus Hamilton. He will now see the white flag. There's going to be one more lap to go here at Road Atlanta. Marcus Hamilton will take the white flag.
Marcus Hamilton's going to get himself past David Peña Jimenez for the final time in this motor race. All he has to do is cycle his way through the traffic, bring it home nice and safe. He has got himself a win in the iRacing Le Mans Series, and at Road Atlanta, that's never an easy thing to do. And one of the things that we said at the top of the show, Will, was you need to be patient, you need to be steady through the traffic. And well, for Marcus Hamilton, he's pulled that off perfectly. Not used too much fuel, saved his hybrid, and used the traffic to his advantage. And for him, that's the strategy you need. As you said, he's always one of the best in traffic and always one of the drivers you have to watch out for when prototypes are involved in racing.
Yeah, on board then with the number 8 machine of Marcus Hamilton. What is the number 8 machine just a few days ago that broke Toyota's curse at Le Mans? Here today, Marcus Hamilton in the number 8 car gifted a victory because Patrick Wolff did not take enough fuel. Final corner, final time. Marcus Hamilton, a winner here in the iRacing Le Mans Series as he will win at Road Atlanta.
Looks as though Ashley Owen as well going to come bring himself across the line in second place. Trustmaster Movano Racing getting himself their first 1-2 of the season. Perfect job by those guys. And Ashley Owen, another driver who in prototypes will always one who's fast and good in traffic.
Fraser Williamson is on the back straight away right now. So let's keep an eye out on Jack Sedgwick as well. Where is he on track? Jack Sedgwick is just heading himself past start finish line. He's your winner in GTE today. So Sedgwick wins in GTE. Now we're just waiting for Fraser Williamson as he's going to come through the last couple of corners and he will be your winner in LMP2.
Indeed so. Sterling job done by the Scotsman today. All he needs to do is keep it nice and steady. Got himself into the lead in the opening stages and stayed there for the whole race. Carlo Labate did lose out to Fraser Williamson, but Fraser, brilliant job by him in that LMP2 class. And it's always a class that's interesting because of how they have to deal with the GTE traffic, and even more interesting at Road Atlanta.
Let's have a look then at your final race results. In LMP1, Marcus Hamilton is your winner, winning out by 5.6 seconds over Ashley Owen. Club UK and Ireland 1-2 here at Road Atlanta. Patrick Wolff pits with 3 laps to go and he finishes in 3rd. Chris Fitter in 4th place, Julian Ribolo in 5th, Eric Galvez in 6th. Daniel Betterfield had an incident early, finishes 1 lap down in 7th. Dragon Nikic then also had to pit towards the end of this event, coming home in 8th, got Guez in 9th, and Fabrice Cornelius rounds out your top 10. Story of the day though, Patrick Wolff had this one in the bag there, Jack.
He did, and that just unlucky strategy error from him means that he's going to be finishing 3rd. Still a podium position for the Pure Racing Team driver, and not a great day in general for Pure Racing Team. Fabrice Cornelius finishing 10 laps down on your overall winner of Marcus Hamilton, but Patrick Wolff, strategy blunder that he didn't need to make.
LMP2, Fraser Williamson wins by 5.2 seconds over Justin Hopp. Carlo Labate in 3rd, Antti Lavoska in 4th, Ronnie Durek then running out your top 5. Lots of good battles going on at LMP2 here today. They haven't got the hybrid system, of course, Jack, but we did see some very close racing.
Always close racing in that class. Single mate class in the LMP2 field. No hybrid, as you said, which just means that they have to use raw power, and raw power indeed of that HPD engine. And while it always does provide good racing, we see it in other series, we see it in this one, and it's always an interesting one to watch, and especially with those LMP1 cars thrown into the mix, having to get their way around a car, which through the corners is just as fast.
GTE. Jack Sedgwick wins by 14.1 seconds over Wyatt Goodham. Vincenzo Silvestri in 3rd place. Cedric Nubelis in 4th. Andre Borcher climbs back up to get P number 5. Patrick Fliss in 6th place. Bruno Fontabla, we saw him go off towards the end of this event. He's in 7th. And, well, again, GTE, some really close battles here today. But Cedric looked almost unstoppable out front.
He did, and even with that mistake on pit entry that he made at his pit stop, no one could even get close to White. Goodham was the only person who could even attempt it and still couldn't get anywhere here. But GTE always provides great battles because everything is so balanced in that class. It is a very good class indeed, with that addition of the Porsche 911 RSR, with that great sound, the Screaming Pig, as I'm now going to name it.
Well, we have got a couple of drivers to talk to. We're going to start off with your winner in LMP2. Jack, take it away.
Fraser, first of all, congratulations. And you did get yourself up into the lead very early with that move on Carlo Labate. What was it like out there today, just dealing with the traffic, not only with the slower traffic in GTE, but also the faster traffic in LMP1?
The traffic was fine. The main issue came from our own traffic at the end last 10 laps. just try to get past your own P2s, because they've got both flags. They can't tell if it's a P1 or a P2 behind them, so issues can be had in that respect.
Obviously, looking forward to the rest of the season, we are going to see a track as challenging as Road Atlanta for overtaking, in my opinion. It's always one of the tracks that we have to be very careful with overtaking, but of course, Road Atlanta is one of the great circuits, isn't it?
Road Atlanta is one of my favourite tracks up there with Watkins Glen. It's just beautiful. You can sit and lap it all day. Overtaking is going to be difficult, but that's the same for every track that is really good for hot lapping on.
Fraser, before we go and let you celebrate with your team, who gets it done at Team Bushwick Racing?
Well, obviously all the guys. Craig set up shop in Dakota Fripp for the set this week. It's been quite good, and just everyone that runs the team.
And there is your winner, in LMP2, Fraser Williamson. Back to you, Will.
Oh, wait a minute. Was that supposed to be me coming back there, Jack?
It was, yes.
Well, you've now got Daniel Bannerfield. Take it away.
Daniel, unlucky day for you, running in third. What happened?
I got ran into.
And obviously, for you, heartbreak at Nürburgring just a few weeks ago, and again here. You're not having a lot of luck in this LMP1 field in this race, are you?
Well, see, normally I do. It's probably because you guys are broadcasting, so... I kid. Yeah, it's not been the best season so far, but I mean, just keep going, even going around at the end there. I mean, it's still worth it. So pick up a few positions, pick up some points, pick up some iRating. So it's still early on in the season.
And of course, just speaking to Fraser a second ago, it was a case of, for him, the hardest part was the traffic within his own class. Traffic for you in the LMP1 field, is it more difficult knowing that you are the fastest car out on the circuit?
Not really, because we've got a nice big boost button.
Which obviously helps you off of the corners. And for you, obviously you are a privateer at the moment. Who gets it done for you?
Well, I guess I got to thank the Pure Racing, well, not the Pure Racing team guys, but the Pure Driving School guys, because they helped me with setups and everything, and it's really great because these P1s are a bit harder to set up than the HPD was, so it's interesting seeing someone else's philosophy of how to set up one of these cars.
Daniel Benefield, always one of the greats in prototype racing that you have to keep an eye on because he is so fast, so rapid. Coming home in 7th today, not having the day he needed after an incident early on. Will, back to you.
I'm here this time. I was, how do we say it? Going to the gentleman's room the last time.
That makes sense. I don't blame you.
Well, of course, we've got two big races tomorrow. They are the 6 hours of Watkins Glen and the first 6 hours of the majors, 24 hours of Le Mans tomorrow. If you haven't got a second monitor, steal one from your family, of course, or put one on a TV screen, or get an iPad, get an iPhone, or get an Android device. Don't do it on a Windows device, if it's a mobile phone. Just go and buy an Android or an iPhone instead. Shall we say that, Jack?
Yeah, I'd agree. I'm definitely one of the people who would say Windows phones, nope, don't even go near them. That's obviously my personal preference. Other mobile phone providers are available.
They are, just don't use them.
Yep, that's my personal opinion, of course, and I'm not going to put my personal opinion across on phones because I am very biased as to what I want and not what I have.
Well, I want to say thank you to Isvan Balar, TrackCam22.com, Andres Warner, and One Design, Simon Grossman, Aptioneering.com, and Nick Thisson for Racebot TV, live timing and scoring. That is all we got time for the second round of the iRacing Le Mans Championship. It's been a fantastic race here today at Road Atlanta, and next time out, the drivers will head themselves to Circuit of the Americas. So we'll see you then, and good night from Road Atlanta.